Welcome to the Wellness Growth Code podcast. I'm your host, Justine, and this is where we talk to leaders in the health and wellness space about what's actually driving growth right now, from visibility to smarter systems to AI. No fluff, just real insights you can take and use in your own business. So let's dive into it. Today, I'm excited to have Cassandra Kaz. I should call you? Yes.
Yeah, you can call me Kaz.
Yes. She's the creator and founder and author behind BeMo. It's a self-therapy practice and journal system she built from the ground up after 20 years of on and off therapy. She has got a wonderful, impressive resume, and I feel like I want to get you to talk about it. I never will do it justice, but I saw you spent like over 10,000 plus researching psychology and all these other different modalities to get where you are to today. Could you talk about your wonderful background? I think you'll do it more justice than I will.
Oh, yeah, let's see if I can. I transitioned from being an executive in marketing and business into the wellness space. And I did that just out of personal necessity, honestly. It was just something that I needed. You're talking about burnout with the intro there, and I felt that deeply. So I transitioned into wellness just because I was at this point in my life where I'd been around long enough, been around the block, and I kept repeating the same things over and over again. But you get to a certain point in life where you actually have something to lose and you don't want to keep sliding back to the same patterns. And I was like, okay, I have to figure this out. I have to figure out how to be authentically myself, but also change. So it all started from me trying to heal my own complex trauma and disorganized attachment, and just sitting down in a corner, like you said, 10,000 hours of research and 34 journals in only two and a half years. And just all of that time just dedicated to trying to figure out how to move forward in different ways. I call it my yeah, but how moment, where I had the vocabulary from therapy, from college, from all these different things, but my soul, like, while it knew the what and the why, it still was asking, yeah, but how? Like, how do I do this? How do I change? How do I quit having the same fights? How do I brave having something be different? So that's how it started.
Oh my gosh. And because I feel like you're talking to me and pretty much so many people that I know. Did you find the answer? Did you get there? And what is it? Tell us.
Yes, I did. So essentially, I wasn't really aware that I found the answer until other people started coming to me just out of the blue, out of the woodwork, like, just, hey, can you help me with this? Or I've noticed that you are doing really well with this right now. What advice would you give me? And it seemed more than normal. It was like an abnormal amount of people coming day after day, just like DMing me or calling me or texting me and just being like, can you help me out? And I was talking to my partner about it. I was like, why are these people asking me? You know what I mean? And I saw myself like responding to every single person over and over again by teaching them this thing that I was doing. I was like, I don't know the answer to that specifically for you. Only you can figure that out, but I am here for you and I can give you this thing that I have been doing and maybe it would help. And so that's when I knew I was on to something and that I was creating an answer for myself. And I wasn't even all the way there yet. It was a very early version that wasn't quite ticked over into what became the BeMo Practice. Through that and through my own journey, I was on a road trip at the time around the entire United States. So through my own just literally going over the path of my life over again, going to where I grew up, going down roads that were familiar and roads of celebration and roads of pain, that all of this came up and the final practice formed for itself. And I, like, by the time I got home from this road trip, I sat down with my therapist and I taught it to him, and it was unreal because he was just like, you're so different from week to week. The growth trajectory was amazing to him. And I wasn't recognizing this in myself at first. He was the one that was just like, every week you're so much stronger. What are you doing? And that's how the final version was formed, just in the fire of real life.
Wow. And so in a like top level, like what is this BeMo? If someone is, curious because I'm getting leaning in more and more. What is the practice and how does it fit into the mental wellness space right now?
Yeah, it's a thought and emotional processing framework. So essentially anything that you're experiencing, good or bad, difficult, joy, whether it's something that feels just awful and dangerous, or whether it's just figuring out how to manage the day or the moment. It's a framework that shows up in all of that, no matter where you are now. And on the surface, it looks incredibly easy, but it has so many things underneath. So I've woven together a modernized version of cognitive behavior therapy, dialectical behavior therapy, shadow work, parts work, all of these different things into a modernized practice that's easy to keep with you. It's easy to remember. It's natural to the way we already speak to each other and ourselves, and therefore it easily changes that inner voice because of how it's framed around how we speak. And then it's easy to remember because the core of it is the funk method, which is based around an acronym that you can easily remember it, you can carry it with you, and it just becomes part of your subconscious until before you know it, it's firing as quickly as your reactions used to fire. And you're making different choices and you're doing things differently.
And who does it help and what kind of symptoms does it help? Like I know we mentioned overwhelm.
Yeah, absolutely. Coming from my personal experience with that disorganization and that fearful avoidant background and just all of that complexity and trauma, I can attest to overwhelm and anxiety and spiraling and self-hate and burnout and all of those things, completely healing it. Even symptoms of autoimmune, lack of sleep, insomnia, just going through. And for me, that alone, that was healing. But I have also now been lucky to witness so many other people's healing journeys. And it has been amazing to me to watch both men and women to be starting to work with children using the same funk method and families as a whole, family units. It's been helpful for healing conflict and career decisions. My partner brings it into business meetings and helps people with business consulting using it. I mean, it has all kinds of purposes. It's been really surprising to see how it helps the neurodivergent community, how people can relate to it, identifying feelings and naming emotions for what seems like the first time in so many people's lives. And then on the other side of the spectrum, people who identify with being highly emotional and highly aware, and they're just operating on that intensity all of the time. It's helping them to find that core, that calm, and understand and name those core needs and understand what's psychologically underneath it. And the way that it works is with your own life, your own story. So it's not like a workbook that you answer 3 questions and then you stop using it because it's impersonal at that point and it's not really helping. Like all of us have that experience where we get a workbook and never finish it for one reason or another.
Yeah.
It's not like that in the sense that it teaches you the practice and then gives you the space to do it. It doesn't put you in a box because it's teaching you to expand. So why would I put you in a box when I'm trying to get you to expand? So you use your own story and your own processing to go through it.
So it really sounds it's like it's for everyone and can address anything, which is amazing. And I love what you said about the workbook because I think on Instagram, comment the word prompt or comment the word workbook and download this. And not once have I even ever done the workbook. It's just another task or another overwhelm. And then I'm like, too much information is coming to me. Yeah, I love that you are speaking to what people need. So
Yeah.
with this, are you training up facilitators to integrate this into their practices now? Or what is like the business plan now for it?
That is definitely part of the business plan. Right now, it's just introducing it to the world. The first modality has been the journal. Another modality has been a notepad for people who are more to-do oriented and planning oriented. There's an application in the works, both desktop and phone application. And yeah, the eventual plan is to actually release it as something that the therapist can be trained on, and it would actually count towards their continuing education units, and it would count towards the training hours that they're supposed to do year after year, and actually train them into the talk therapy version of the funk method, because it's very conducive to speaking and conversation and talk therapy. And my therapist personally has been using it, and using it as a talk therapy modality for a couple of years now. So now we're taking what we know from these clinical trials and tests, and we're building out the program, because you're required to build the program first and then get it licensed. And once that's licensed, then all of the wellness facilitators can also be licensed by it and then get credit for utilizing it. So that is part of the plan. It's definitely something that I think we will have within a year of now. Yeah.
Oh, gosh. And so it's only been a few years. You've created so much, and it sounds like there's some big goals for the business too. What does a typical day look like for you? Like, it sounds like you're running around designing products, growing a business. Can you talk us through what does a day in the life of Kaz look like?
A day in the life of Kaz is wearing multiple hats. So it's waking up very early. I try to do any like writing and creative work first. So if I'm writing a book, writing an article, writing a memoir, writing a workbook, like writing a script, anything in which I am writing into this to give more windows into the space and to be able to meet everyone where they are now. Because some people, they want it to feel like homework. Some people don't want it to feel like homework. So I'm trying to come up with all these different modalities. So the first thing I do is the creative space, because it's best for me to do that before I have any thoughts about the day and any emotions about the day. And then I just move into the marketing of it all. What is the email? What is the social media? What is the video? What is the next way that we're going to talk about this today or tomorrow? Oh my goodness, there's so many things right now. There's seasons for things. So every year I have a product development season, which is very much the first quarter of the year. And that's where I'm literally taking everything I've learned from the last year and I'm developing a new product. I'm writing a new workbook. I'm creating conversation spaces or classes or something like that. So this has been the season of literal product development, design, writing, working in all of the files, making sure that works, testing it, getting people to test it, doing surveys about it. So that's one thing that I'm wrapping up right now. And then we usually do like a whole website overhaul and a branding check. And that's the next thing that we do right before Mental Health Awareness Month. Like, how are we going to deliver the most impact in May when people are aware of mental health awareness? They want to know all about it. How are we going to talk to people? How is our website going to host this? And then we move into audience and advertising and just community and event space and just the collaboration between the audience and myself through the entire summer, the back and forth, and making sure we hear each other and show up for each other. And then it's just Christmas season and gifting season and trying to figure out how to position everything for everyone and make sure that it's understood. But it's a million different hats. I'm a designer when I'm not trained to be a designer, and I'm doing video when I'm actually incredibly shy about things, and I've never been that personality that's out there cheerleading myself. And meeting with people in product designing and manufacturers right now is a lot of meetings with manufacturing, and it's a lot. It's many hats.
Yeah. Gosh, and what trends are you seeing in the mental wellness and self-therapy space right now? Or what are people getting wrong about what people actually need?
I think the number one trend that I am seeing is using AI as a therapist, which I do not love. I have to be honest. I am fully an advocate of AI. I have many concerns of using AI as your therapist. And so that's a trend that I am seeing. It's something that has caused me personally to pivot a lot of things that I thought I was going to be doing this year that are no longer priority. So
Yeah.
it's been something that's really disruptive to the community, but it's something that it's built on what I believe are outdated therapeutic models so many people will just take like cognitive behavior therapy and tell AI about it and then launch it into an app and say, there you go, we modernized the space. And I'm like, no, you didn't, because CBT was developed in the 1980s and you didn't change it. You changed the modality, but you didn't change it. So part of my concern is that there aren't enough people thinking of changing the actual therapy, which is what I ended up doing in order to save and heal myself. And then the other concern I have is that I just see more and more, especially young people, we're talking kids at this point, using AI for someone to talk to. And my concern there is that AI is very egregious. It will always agree with you. And so that's something that's going to build intense loneliness and codependency. And so I have shifted so much of what I've been doing. I've avoided creating an app for many years because it can actually be really dangerous to be in the middle of working through trauma and then have a notification roll down and take you away in the middle of it. And I've been trying to figure out, how do you solve a safe space on a digital device? And so I've been avoidant of it. But now that I see that people are just jumping into it and creating damage for themselves, I felt, okay, I need to start figuring out how to solve this problem. So I have essentially trained an AI model completely on the Funk method and the BeMo framework, which the difference there is that it is not your therapist. It is constantly training you how to show up for yourself. So rather than building codependency, you're still interdependent. You're still knowing how to communicate. You're still braving, taking what you know and going out into the world and having a conversation, whether you're afraid of speaking up in a relationship or quitting a job or whatever it is, rather than just venting and staying in this agreeing circle with AI and just being in this problem. It'll actually help you figure out like reasonable and valid solutions from within rather than just regurgitating things to you. So
that's so important, isn't it? And just going back to trusting you, because I think at one stage I was having some things going on with my daughter and I was asking AI, but then I couldn't remember it myself. So I was looking at my phone to see my AI notes to ask her questions. And then anyway, she caught me out. And then a few days later, she was like, you just use AI to ask questions. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so right. And she and she's only 8. But you do start not trusting your own awareness and that AI might know it better than you do or ask better questions. And so really, I've been just trying to go back to, hang on, I'm intuitive. I know I've got good awareness. But so I think that was interesting what you talked about, that codependency, and especially the younger generation. Like, I know my nanny uses it all the time. And I wonder what the long-term effects is of that.
Yeah, I'd have an assistant that uses it all of the time, and she's clearly much younger than I am, just coming into adulthood. And then to hear her come and share with me what she's going through and how she talked to AI about it and what AI said, like, it's just, I mean, I'm just like, okay, it's not actually helping you make any decisions because it's not teaching you how. It's not teaching you how to brave that voice or what those words might be or how to make your own decisions or what's actually going on. It's just being like the best girlfriend that's just, oh yeah, dump him, he's terrible. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like this venting session that doesn't actually help anything. And but that's kind of the problem with traditional journaling too, is like you just end up in this cycle of, I'm just gonna vent and I just want to vent. And I'm like, okay, eventually, if we find ourselves venting and venting, we just end up being silent. We put ourselves in a corner and we shame ourselves into, I'm repeating this too much. My friends are sick of hearing it, so I'm not going to say it anymore, rather than figuring out what's going on and why it's happening and how to move through it, which was the whole thing. That was my but how. Like, I want to stop complaining and venting and talking about these things all the time, but I also don't want the opposite of that to be, oh, I'll just be quiet.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So I guess back to the business in the short amount of time, what would you say is one of the biggest things you're most proud of so far that you've created?
I think one of the things that I'm most proud of is our just organically growing community that we're building. So the people who are learning this practice now in that shared language are coming together in a healing space, and we're moving through incredibly difficult things together and holding space for a much longer period of time than you ever would on your own, because there's just everyone's developing self-trust at a much higher level. And then when you all share that language, there's just this community trust that just elevates. It's its own type of magic. There's just this trust in what everyone is going through and moving through and what the space will provide. And it's just really lovely to see brand new people and people who've been using it for years to come together, and all of them have some sort of value or breakthrough every time. Like nobody ever leaves going, that was a waste of time. Like never. And it's just powerful when everybody, they have steps and they're moving through the steps and they trust that everybody is moving through it together, and that everybody has worries and concerns and feels a little invalid at times, and they share that space in the most beautiful way. And it's really hard to create trust and safety in a space in the world today with so many different people from so many different backgrounds. So I think that's been just my favorite thing.
Yeah, that's so lovely. And what about one of the biggest lessons so far? What has that been in your journey?
I think one of the main lessons that if I could go back and redo the last 7 years is that I have learned that every time I try to avoid risk, I actually create a lot more risk for myself. And so I think my lessons is to not be afraid of failure, not be afraid to fail fast, and to make brave decisions. It's not about making them quickly, but not stalling for anything, not waiting for validation or waiting for permission or waiting for information. Like I have this problem where I essentially got stuck looking for more information, and I got almost addicted to, oh, I need to know more before I can do anything. And I was just in this information loop, which is part of why there's so much research behind it, because I just felt comfortable in the constant research of it all. And I think, yeah, if I could do it differently, I would have minimized risk simply by being a little bit more brave about things.
Yeah, that's such a great advice. I guess another question I always ask is if you had a magic wand and you could fix one thing in your business right now, what would that be? Slowing you down to getting where you want right now.
I think I get in my own way. Honestly, like if I could wave a magic wand, I think it would simply be to get out of my own way in the beliefs of that has to be everything all at once. You know what I mean? To just continue to take my own advice through the practice itself. Ironically, very meta. I use the BeMo practice to make BeMo decisions all of the time. I think I just every day I'm trying to get out of my own way and remember that helping one person is by far the most valuable. That is the most amazing thing in the world. Like it isn't necessarily about the masses or about doing something perfectly or getting something to the right channel in the right time in the right way. If just to do one thing and have it help one person, that's one person's life. Like,
I love that. That's so beautiful. And I guess you yourself have spent many years in therapy and you still felt like something was missing. Given everything that you've gone through to get to BeMo where it is today, what's the single biggest lesson you'd like to leave someone in our audience who's done a lot of work on themselves but might still be stuck? What would you, as a parting words of wisdom?
start where you are rather than trying to put yourself in the should, would, could of where you want to be or should be or could be or have to be. I think the number one thing that I teach people, and it's at the center of BeMo, we always talk about the BeMo practice, at the center of that is the funk method, and at the center of the funk method is just understanding and voicing your needs. I teach people every single day. I say, stop need toing yourself. So if you ever catch yourself saying, I just need to, and dial it back and tell yourself, rewrite it to I can. So I just need to wake up earlier, and then rewrite that to I can wake up earlier.
Yeah.
And also give yourself permission for the things you no longer want to do. So if you're someone that's stressing all the time or overworking, say to yourself, I can stress about this all I want, and I can overwork all day long. And sometimes just giving yourself permission to makes all the difference. But definitely just don't need to yourself. Don't push yourself into this constant state of doing.
I love that. And because it sounds like everyone needs the method, the book, if people want to find out more about your process, where could they find out more about you?
You can find us on all social media with the handle BeMo Journal, or just at bemojournal.com. And it is a community. If you drop into a comment or if you send an email, I will be the one that sees you and hears you and responds to you, and you will be heard. Yeah, you can jump on and you can get involved immediately.
It sounds amazing. It sounds much needed. And I'll put all the handles and your website details into the show notes. I can't wait to get the journal myself. It sounds like something I need right now. This was such a wonderful conversation. I just love what you've created. It sounds like it's going to help so many people. So yeah, I just want to wish you all the best on your journey, and I'll be following your success, and I hope it's integrated into many business practices and homes in years to come.
And thank you so much. I hope so as well.
Yeah. Thanks for your time today. It's great to chat and find out more about your business.
Thank you.